What's going on, folks? Renegade here. Back again, working on the XS400. Alright, this looks a little naked right now, but there's a reason for it. Now, it is a scorcher today, so I apologize now for any sweat that occurs, because, yeah, it feels like it's close to 80 right now, which is awesome for me, because outdoor work, you want warmth. So what I got going today is time to get the wiring harness set up. This ain't gonna work. Not in the least bit. Now, if you remember, on multiple occasions now, I've told you, rule number one of being a mechanic is to save anything that could be of use. Today, you get to see why. I have these. Wiring harness for a ZX600 and another wiring harness from a Yamaha Special 400. Now, the wiring harness I'm working on is from a Maxim 400. Frame is from a Seika 400. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here, don't we? It's all gonna work, don't worry. Now, the reason I kept these is because you never know when they could come in use, and now is when they're going to be very useful, because I have a bunch of wires that are just broken. I mean, these are the wires in my fuse box. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Which means I'm gonna have to bastardize those. Now, when I say bastardize, I do mean I'm gonna be cutting connectors off of them in wire lengths to make this work. The fun of this is, first I have to figure out where all the wires go. Wiring diagrams. Thank goodness. I'll be using those to figure out where those wires go. Now, some of you, I'm sure, are wondering if you have a Yamaha 400 that you're working on and you have the wiring harness from Yamaha 400, why don't you just use one to make the other work? Well, the reason is simple. They didn't work the same way. The Maxim and the Special had a couple different things on them, so the wiring harnesses aren't exact matches. That's not a simple plug and play. That's why we're going to go and do this. I already got everything off. You can see the tank is off, the seat's off, the side panel's off. So all these wires are exposed. I did decide that this, my TCI board, which normally sits there, is not going to sit there. Instead, I'm going to mount that there. Makes it a little tight here, but it could be far worse, because I need to put my fuse box somewhere. And here it is, fuse box. Now, this is an aftermarket. I picked it up at AutoZone for about 14 bucks. And it's going to go here. Now, the stock one went here, roughly where that TCI board is sitting. That one was a glass fuse, only held 4 fuses, and I'm going to want a couple extras. So I got this guy. It's got 6 fuses. They're mini blade fuse. It's going to work better for me. But of course, I had to hook all this up. That's where the fun begins. So at least now we know that's going there. So from there, we'll be able to make things, fit. Some of this stuff's not going to get all done today. Some of this stuff is going to just be rough setup. They don't have the engine installed yet, so things like the oil pressure sensor, I don't have the exact length. Now, I'm not going to go through each wire showing you all how to find it and figure it out and everything. I'll give you the basics. But one of the easy tricks that I learned is when you're going through your wires and you're figuring it out, use some masking tape and a Sharpie and just label what the wires are for. Like here, oh, that's hot. Don't stick your hand or your arm on hot metal. Anywho, this wire here is for the starter solenoid, so on it I wrote starter sol. It's an abbreviation, but I know that's for the starter solenoid, so it doesn't have to go very far. I'm going to continue to do that with all these wires to figure out where all they're supposed to go. Now, for this, we use our handy dandy motorcycle Bible. Wiring diagrams. I realize it looks a lot like spaghetti to a lot of people, but it's actually pretty easy to figure out. Got your color code right here, and all your wires are drawn out and labeled. So this wire here, battery, red, connects over to the red pin of the rectifier and continues up, and just follow the wire and to the main fuse. The main fuse, down, back down, and over here to the on-off switch. It sounds difficult, but if you just follow the wire with your finger, it gets easy. So I'm going to figure that out over there. Alright, I had to move and get somewhat out of the sun because I was cooking, man. So here's part of why this is all so important. Not only do I need to figure out where all these wires are going, but in some cases I have to figure out what they're supposed to be so I can figure out a different way to hook them up. Now what I mean by this is, I showed you guys this before briefly. New taillight. Completely different than stock. This is an integrated unit. Smoked. It's got turn signals, tail light, brake light, and license plate light. Because it's aftermarket, it doesn't hook up the same way. So I had to take the wiring diagram that I got with the kit and label these wires. So when I found these wires, which are for the brake light and tail light, or yeah, the brake light and the tail light, now I know that I will need these particular wires to connect to these. And my plan is I want to hook up any of these aftermarket parts so that they plug directly into the stock wiring harness. So they plug into the stock wiring harness rather than having a bunch of random wires floating around. The original unit had 3 wires for the tail light. It was just tail light, brake light, and ground. And then it had separate wires on either side for the turn signals, because they were stock turn signals like most bikes. Now I have these, just 5 wires, but that's why this is important, because I need to figure out how to hook up this stuff. And I've got back and I've got front stuff to connect and all sorts of fun jazz. So much work to do. But hey, gotta get done. Alright, so one of the problems I'm having right now is that a lot of this seems to be kind of process of elimination, and there's a lot of wires. When you look at that. And I don't know where half these go. Trying to figure it out is kind of a pain. So what I started doing, I started connecting wires. Now I had to put this one back together because it was broken. And I connected the taillight wires here. Now I know that these wires are for the taillight only. You notice I made them long enough so I can tuck this wire back. I'll zip tie it later so it's out of the way. And it's more than long enough, which is good because I don't want it too tight. Now that these are soldered in and everything, I can wrap these wires and then don't have to worry about them again. Not until way later down the road. That's one little bit of all this mess done. But hey, it's progress, right? I hate wiring. It takes forever. But again, more progress is being done. Now, I've got the main harness for my fuse box. Each one of them labeled as to which one's out, so I put them all on the right side, just because, you know, I made it like that. One of the great things about having the extra wiring harness that I do, this guy here, which is now stuck, is that I have all the same wire colors. So I didn't have to change the wires. Red is red. Red with yellow is red with yellow. Red with white is red with white. I only had one wire that I needed to faucet, but I put it in the middle, so down at the connector end, it still looks stock. If you can, this is the way to go, because down the road you don't want to confuse yourself by looking at multiple different color wires. Always try and at least use the end. Bug. Always try and at least use the end with the connector the same color as the wire should be on the wiring diagram. Let me keep going here. Well, there's one side of the fuse box done, the feed side. Now I'm working on the outside. This is exhausting work. It's not the pain in the arse. There we go. One fuse box all done. Right now the wires are just clumped together. A little electrical tape to hold them. Just because I'm going to have more that's going to go into this wrap. Later on, I'll cut this little tab off and drill some holes and mount it right there. Boom. Done. It's only taken me like an hour and a half. Alright, man, that's exaggeration. I don't know. It's very time consuming. I started this about 2 o'clock. It's now 5:20. And you can see I'm only so far. But hey, every little bit counts, right? Well, that's certainly a start. I know my placement for my TCI. I got tail light, at least the tail light, brake light part wired up. Turn signal still have to be wired up. Fuse box wired up, has to be mounted still. I gotta figure out what to do about this, my rectifier. It looks a lot better like that. Of course I got all this still to deal with. This is a bunch of components. Voltage regulator, turn signal relay, I think. It's a mess, is what that is. And then, I still have all this to deal with. This is all for the dash, or cluster, whatever, and the handlebar controls. Well, I got a new cluster, but it's aftermarket, and I got a new headlight. Might as well show you this now. It's a little smaller. The stock one had a huge headlight on it, and yeah, I wasn't going that big again. This would be nice because I'm going to put an LED bulb in here so it would be even brighter. And integrated in, right along here, are turn signals and running lights. I'm not sure how I'm going to wire that part up yet. I know they're going to work as turn signals though. So integrated here, integrated in the back, and I might have one more thing in my bag of goodies coming soon that should be a little extra cool. But now the question is, see, all this wiring, ooh, get off that. All this wiring on the stock bike was hidden in the headlight, which was a royal pain in the ass anytime you had to do anything. Do I try and make all this fit in there? Or do I try and hide it back here with something? Let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think? Try and hide it somewhere on the bike, or put it into the headlight like the stock way. As it is, I'm going to hook up my dash or my cluster, whatever you want to call it, up so it uses the stock connections as well. But it does leave the question of, if I'm going to put them here, I'm going to put it hidden back here, this has to get cut. Because, I mean, you see how long it is. It's way too long. And I'd rather not have multiple cuts in a wire. I'd rather just cut it once and be done with it. So, I need to figure that part out. So, folks, that's going to do it for me. I'm starting to get eaten alive by the bugs, because we're in that time of year. But, yeah. Not as much progress as I wanted, but, hey, it's something. It's a start, right? And, that's it. You gotta figure out all that mishigosh. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy. If you are enjoying, please hit the thumbs up, give me a like on the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Of course, follow the social media links, you know, all the normal stuff. And hey, if you're liking the project and you want to see it sped up a little more, if you want to help contribute, obviously you don't have to, but if you'd like to, there is a link down below to ko-fi.com, my coffee page, that is. Man, the gnats are something fierce today. If you'd like to donate, why don't you buy me a coffee? It goes to working on this. It goes to getting this finished sooner. I hope you all have a nice day. Go keep rocking and rolling. I'm going to keep taking care of business. I'll see you all in the next one.